People often ask if you can see London in a day, but the truth is it would take weeks, months, or even years to see the city in its entirety. However, there is a way to see many of London's most iconic sites in one day, and in this guide we're going to show you some of the top attractions as well as some hidden gems. The Sky Garden is located within the Fenchurch building, which is fondly referred to as the walkie-talkie thanks to its shape. It's a great place to start your day in London as you get 360-degree views over the rest of the monuments that make this city so famous. The Sky Garden is sat over several stories and soars 155 metres above the city. This space combines rockeries with lush tropical plants and, best of all, sweeping views over monuments such as the Gherkin, St Paul's and Tower Bridge. A visit to the Sky Garden is actually free, but you do have to book a ticket several weeks in advance. If you don't manage to do this, like we didn't because we didn't plan our visit ahead of time, then a great way to get in early is to actually buy a breakfast ticket. For this, it's around £11.50, and included in the price, as well as getting early entrance an hour before the general public, you'll get a pastry and a coffee. It's really nice. We've come onto the terrace and we're enjoying views of London. In the end, the coffees are actually around £4 each and the pastries are £4, so that's £8 per person. So it's not too much more just to get the ticket. The only thing I would say is that the pastries are a bit dry, they're not great quality. We're now leaving the Sky Garden to walk to our next destination. Oh, and my ears are popping on the way down because we were on the 35th floor. The City of London is this amazing blend of old meets new, and here you'll find towering skyscrapers next to centuries-old churches. Indeed, this is where the Romans founded Londinium 2 millennia ago. And a great example of this is that in this building right next to me, just opposite the Sky Garden, you'll find a very old 14th century church. St Mary at Hill dates back to at least 1336, though it was severely damaged by the Great Fire of London in 1666 and was mostly rebuilt under the guidance of Sir Christopher Wren. It's now Baroque style, and in the churchyard here there are several tombstones from the 18th century. Obviously, the most famous ecclesiastical building in this area is the Church of St Dunstan in the east. There's been a parish church on site here since at least the 12th century, though unfortunately the church was badly destroyed during the Blitz of World War II, and the decision was taken not to rebuild the church. Instead, it's now been transformed into this beautiful, serene garden where Londoners can come to hang out and escape the hustle and bustle of the city. The Tower of London dates back almost 1,000 years. After the Battle of Hastings in 1066, William the Conqueror came to London and he built a fortress in the middle of the City of London. From then on, it has been a stronghold for the royal family, and it's now home to the crown jewels. Today, over 3 million people a year come to see the history of the tower and discover its secrets. The Tower of London has actually seen several uses over the years, including as an armory, as a royal mint, and even as a zoo. At one time, it was a very luxurious palace. Unfortunately, there is a long queue to enter, and we don't have a lot of time in this one-day itinerary, so let's go to our next destination. Tower Bridge is probably the most famous landmark in London. It dates all the way back to the latter half of the 19th century and is a suspension and bascule bridge. Until 1960, it was also a cantilever bridge. Today, you can go inside for a fee, but we don't have a great deal of time, so it's still beautiful to admire from its exterior. A few times a month, it does open up to allow bigger ships to pass, and you can find the opening times for this online. To be honest, the secret to enjoying a great day out in London is to take public transportation for as little time as possible. And so now we're going to stroll alongside the River Thames to reach our next famous attraction. Right behind me is London Bridge. Now this is the bridge which is often confused with the more famous Tower Bridge. It dates back to the 1970s and replaced a former river crossing on site. As you can see, it's not very aesthetic because it's made of concrete and steel. Right behind me is the Shard. This is 72 stories and is over 300 meters tall. It's actually the tallest building in the UK and the 7th tallest in Europe. You can actually pay to go to the top where you'll get amazing views of the city. But of course, we don't have time to do that today as we already saw the view from the Sky Garden. So we're going to carry on our walk along the Thames. When you're wandering along the River Thames, don't forget to check out all of the different name plaques along the various quays. For example, this one is Oystergate Walk, and it's not actually a gate or an entrance, but denotes a wharf where goods were offloaded from the River Thames at a time where all goods had to be shipped in and out of London on the water. In this area, you'll also see the famous dolphin lampposts. Allegedly, they actually represent sturgeon fish, but they're very gorgeous to look at. Our next stop is going to be St Paul's, but it started briefly raining and we're a bit hungry, so we're going to grab some lunch first. We headed into a pub by the name of Ye Olde Watling. Now, the thing to know before heading to a pub is that many serve up food, and you don't actually have to get a beer in order to enjoy the atmosphere. There's been a church dedicated to St Paul on site since 604. The structure you see today dates back to 1710 and was designed in the Baroque style by Sir Christopher Wren. Today, St Paul's Cathedral stands on the highest point of the City of London, which is Ludgate Hill. If it's a clear and sunny day, then one of the best views of the City of London can be found by going up St Paul's Cathedral Tower. Unfortunately, you do have to pay and it's a bit pricey, but you can visit St Paul's Churchyard and Festival Gardens for free. If you come in May, then you'll be treated to some very, very beautiful and sweet smelling wisteria. Temple Bar was commissioned by Charles II and it was designed by Sir Christopher Wren in the 1660s. It's the last surviving gate to the City of London and it's made of Portland stone. It might not look like it today because now it's very nice to look at, but in the 17th and 18th centuries, it actually displayed the heads of traitors to England. Just across the road from St Paul's, you'll come to Carter Lane. This is a really quaint street full of little bars, eateries and shops. We've come back alongside the River Thames because now we're going to cross over a bridge that you're probably familiar with. Construction of Millennium Bridge began in 1998 and it was then opened to the public in June of 2000. The day that it opened, people realized that the bridge swayed a lot and so they nicknamed it the Wobbly Bridge. In actual fact, it was swaying way too much for pedestrians to be walking on it, and so it was then closed for 2 years for further renovations, restorations, rebuilding before being open to the public once more. Today, it's a beloved example of modern architecture in the London skyline, and it's walked across by millions of people each year. Millennium Bridge stretches the distance between St Paul's and the Tate, which is a modern art museum that you can visit for free, though some exhibitions you do have to pay for. Just a short distance away from the Tate and Millennium Bridge, you'll find Shakespeare's Globe. This is a reconstruction of an Elizabethan playhouse that was built in 1599, and Shakespeare actually wrote many of his plays to be played out in this theatre. We're now going to carry on walking down the southern bank of the River Thames to reach yet another famous monument. If you visit most days of the week, then you'll actually find a book market right under the bridge here. It's a very unique souvenir that you can pick up from London, as they have lots of secondhand books, prints, maps, things like that. Unfortunately, it's not on today because it's a holiday, but it's very nice when it's sunny and you can walk along and pick up a book. We've just arrived at Leake Street. This has been the unofficial home of street art in the South Bank of London since 2008. This was an otherwise ordinary tunnel going underneath Waterloo Station, but has now been transformed into this whole gallery of amazing street art. No two visits are the same because people are always adding to the art here. When you come to Leake Street, there is one piece of street art which will always be here, and that is this piece right behind me by Blek Lerat, who's a French graffiti artist. He created the piece in August of 2023 and now is protected by Perspex glass, so no one can cover it over. I know it's hard to believe, but we came out of Leake Street graffiti tunnel and suddenly the skies are blue. The grey skies are nowhere to be seen. It's quite lovely. The London Eye was originally called the Millennium Wheel, and it's the largest cantilevered observation deck in the world. In my opinion, it's not really worth the exorbitant fee to go up it when there are so many other viewpoints in London which are cheaper or free, but you can see it from the exterior, and you probably will if you only spend one day in London, because it's right opposite the Houses of Parliament. The Palace of Westminster is right behind me, and this is the meeting place for the Parliament of the UK. The building you see now dates back to the 19th century, as it was rebuilt after the previous one burnt down during a fire. The most famous aspect of the Houses of Parliament is probably Big Ben. Now, this isn't the name of the tower or the clock, but the bell within the Elizabeth Tower. It's a striking clock and was renamed from the Clock Tower to Elizabeth Tower in 2012 in honour of the Queen's Jubilee. If you're looking for some peace and calm, you'll want to come to Whitehall Gardens. This is a really nice green space with tulips in the spring alongside the River Thames. Now let's go and actually have a break. Gordon's Wine Bar was established in 1890 and it's easily one of the coolest bars in central London. The main focus of the menu is obviously wine, but you can also get sharing plates, and the best aspect of the venue is that the indoor part is actually sat within a candle-lit vault. Trafalgar Square is named after Britain's victory at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. Today, it's home to several important monuments, including the National Gallery and also the Embassy of Canada. It's also a really nice place to hang out because there's lots of beautiful fountains here. We're now going to make our way down the Mall to reach Buckingham Palace. This is the administrative headquarters of the British monarchy, and the building itself dates all the way back to 1705. The way that you know that the royals are home is because the royal standard is flying. It's a specific flag that denotes that a royal is in residence. Although I think they might have just left because we saw all these police and blue lights going past, so maybe they just left. When it's not blossom season, my favourite green space in London is St James's Park. This is because you can see lots of famous London attractions from here. This includes the London Eye, Buckingham Palace, and lots of amazing wildlife, including a resident group of pelicans. So we just saw a sign, and apparently, unfortunately, the pelicans are actually tucked away safely on Duck Island right now because of an avian flu outbreak. There's one flying free, but for the most part, you won't be able to see them. If you do want to see the pelicans, then you can actually watch our 3 days in London video, as this features them heavily. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more UK travel content. See you next time.